Hello everyone, welcome back to The Media Couple. I'm Rory.
And I'm Sophie.
Where we break down the latest in film, TV and entertainment from an insider's perspective.
Yes, we do. And today we are talking all things remakes, reboots, repeats, kind of everything that feels a little bit familiar. We are going to be talking about Hostage, The Assassin, and the Harry Potter HBO remake that's happening. Or is it a remake? Well, we'll find out. At the very end, we have a Rotten Tomatoes game, which is, you guessed it, all about remakes. So do stick around for that. And to start this one off, we're going to talk about what sort of inspired today's podcast, I think, today's episode. So Rory and I watched The Hostage and The Assassin back to back this week. Oh, well, not back to back, but you know what I mean. Over the past week. And I got a little bit confused between who was who in each one.
In terms of the leading actors.
Yeah. So I was convinced that Keely Hawes was the actress in Hostage. Yeah. And it turns out it was Suranne Jones. And vice versa. I thought Suranne Jones was in The Assassin. And it got us talking basically about how there's a lot of these kind of shows out there. They're very familiar. Mm-hmm. They're very samey. And listen, no shade to those shows. They were great shows. Yeah. But I think it just was a little bit of like, I've seen this before. Yeah. I don't know. What did you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed them. Right. Yeah. I sat there, I enjoyed them. I thought both of the actors were great. I probably lean more on the side of, I think I preferred the craziness of The Assassin. Yeah,
you quite enjoyed the sort of almost cheekiness.
I just liked seeing a female Jason Bourne.
I thought it was really interesting because you could really feel the difference in both of the streamers' styles.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could feel the Netflix of Hostage. Yeah. And you could feel the Amazon of The Assassin.
This is going to sound really weird because they're both American companies, but you could feel the Americanism of Amazon.
Oh yeah, but I feel like Netflix also has this very specific look. It's like but it's because they only have specific cameras that they approve for
the
use.
The Netflix cameras are a thing.
It's like you have a specific list of cameras that you're allowed to use on a Netflix show. Mm-hmm. So it ensures that the look is always similar across all the films and shows that they make. Or buy. Yeah. Well, not necessarily buy.
Well, not buy.
But you know what I mean? Yeah. So they always have this Netflix look at the end, which makes sense. But I think creatively as well, it was just really interesting to see the both of them and watch them in the same week and compare and contrast, even though I couldn't quite make up who was Suranne and who was Keely. Both brilliant actresses.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to go off what you were saying about like the similar in styles, I mean, these shows feel like predominantly they would have been made on something like the BBC back in the day.
Well,
right.
Yes. Funny you should say that.
Funny you should bring that up.
Because part of what I was what I was sort of thinking about earlier when we were coming up with this idea to talk about today was sort of how familiar those shows feel. Yeah. And how, I would look at CSI, for example, and be like, it is just the same thing. CSI, NCIS.
24.
All those American shows that, are just the same cop shows again and again. Yeah. I was like, but the UK doesn't do that. And then I kind of had a moment of clarity, shall we call it. And I was like, oh no, the UK definitely does do that. And in fact, it does that so well that I've watched all of them. Yeah.
I mean, you say you're confused. You love a UK crime drama.
Oh, I do. I made a list of my top ones that I've watched recently.
Hit it.
So we've got Hijack.
Yep.
The Diplomat, Vigil, Bodyguard, Trigger Point, The Night Agent, Luther, Slow Horses, Department Q, and Happy Valley. What do all of those have in common, Rory?
They're all based in the UK.
Well, yes. Yeah.
You're like, maybe? They all have a British lead.
No, they all have the same grey, moody, sad.
They all have the same look.
They do. They all have the same visual palette, right?
Get the London look.
Literally. But they also have the same story tropes, spies, terrorists, missing people.
Politics.
They also look, they also look like serious TV dramas. Yeah. They have that Netflix look almost, or BBC-ified look.
The BBC look, yeah.
And all their characters, I'd say you could pick out a character from Vigil and probably drop them into Slow Horses and they would work.
We'd be fine.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they just walk across the same set.
Exactly.
And they're like, you can stay.
Exactly. I just think it's so interesting that, I don't know what we've got going on here, but clearly there's some comfort element that we're loving about these shows that keep coming out that are just basically the same thing again and again and again. Hostage and Assassin.
Yeah. Is the exact same show, just copy and pasted basically.
Exactly. And I wonder, it's sort of, these shows don't cost a small penny.
No.
They're pretty expensive. Mm-hmm. Why are we making so many of them? And where is the sort of the newer other types of shows? Where are the Bridgertons or the, I don't know, Stranger Things?
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
I feel like it's interesting that we're putting so much money into them.
I mean, we've spoken on this podcast before, but I think the idea of it is like there's safety and familiarity,
Yeah.
It's like a lot of the big execs and stuff that we've spoken about in the past, it's like money's getting tighter, things are getting restricted. It's not like the heyday of drama in the UK, right? Where like things were commissioned and it's like, we don't know what this could be.
Yeah.
But that's what's exciting. Mm-hmm. Your shows like your Skins and your Misfits and things like that, which, Channel 4 were at the forefront of doing those type of things. But it's like nowadays, it's like, we can't be spending 10 million on a series unless we're going to get results. I feel like nowadays, it's a bit like Jonah Hill in Moneyball, Mm-hmm. It's like, what does the data tell us? And I think the data tells us that clearly these type of shows have an audience. Let's keep making those.
Yeah. I guess that the thing is, you've also got to remember that the people who are choosing to put these shows on are going, okay, well, this is safe. This is familiar. I know that this is going to do well with audiences. So of course I'm going to put it on.
Yeah.
If you were in their shoes and you had to pick between, greenlighting Fleabag or Vigil, which one would you choose?
Vigil.
Yeah.
Even though Fleabag is amazing, but Vigil. It's the safer route.
It's the safer route.
And guaranteed to get bums on seats.
But then what does that say about like creativity and the art and, the content that we're watching?
I completely agree. I mean, there's a really good conversation about this because it's like, let's take two Netflix shows that have, been amazing, right? That they did because they did something like this. Baby Reindeer.
Yeah.
And Adolescence.
Yeah.
Right? You imagine the execs, it's like going in there. No, there's no cutting. This is one take. This is it. You'd be like, what? Like, whoa, that's unfamiliar territory. But look how well it's done for them.
Yeah, that's true. And it has done well. But I think as well that, like, I don't want to be on the side of executives here because, let's not get my street cred.
No, you're cool.
Obviously.
Really cool.
No, but I think to a certain extent, it's like there is probably also something in the fact that we do enjoy watching those kinds of shows.
Of course we do, yeah.
I mean, I definitely look forward to the next BBC thriller drama that comes out. I love watching them.
Yeah.
But I also think, okay, there's got to be a point where we go, this is getting a bit silly. Like this, how CSI and NCIS went on for so many seasons.
Yeah.
But then maybe is there something in that? Are we looking for comfort TV? Are we looking for familiarity?
Yeah.
In a time at the moment where things are so volatile across the board in our lives, are we looking for something maybe a little bit nostalgic that, I feel like the Hostage and the Assassin could have come out 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it would still have fit then as it does now. It doesn't feel like it's necessarily in reinventing the wheel, shall we say.
I also feel like, like you talk about like familiarity and people feeling safe. It's also, I think, about time with audiences because it's like we have less and less time nowadays. We're being pulled in so many different directions and, working all the time that it's like a limited series just does surprisingly well with audiences.
Yeah.
It's like
you don't have to commit to like 20 episodes.
That's what I'm saying. It's like if you can sit down and go, right, Hostage was 6 episodes. I think the Assassin was like 7 or 8. It's like I'm willing to commit to that. Whereas if you're hitting me something with CSI, it's like 20. I can't do that.
But also for a commissioner, I guess it also would make sense to go with something that's a little bit a mini series. They don't have to commission a second series. They don't have to cut the second series or make the decision. It sort of mitigates their risk as well.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting that we're putting, in a time where money is shorter. There's a shortage of money in this industry. Yeah. Although I know it doesn't feel like that to audiences, there is definitely a shortage of money. You look at the data year on year, these companies are commissioning less and less.
Yeah.
Because they just don't have the money. They're making redundancies, across the board. Mm-hmm. It's just interesting that the money is being funneled into these kinds of shows, which they're not cheap to make.
No.
They're not cheap to make. And it's that these feel like the lesser risk than something that's actually cheaper to make, but might not have such mass appeal. It's just, it's a new world. It's a whole new world.
Absolutely.
Anyways, speaking of whole new world, Harry Potter.
Okay.
Yes. So,
is it a whole new world?
Well, this is the question. This is the question. So Chris Columbus, who obviously was the director of the first few films of the franchise, as we know them.
He did the first two.
Yeah. He was recently on another podcast. So I'm not going to mention who, but potentially somebody that we have listened to before.
Oh, yeah, just a few times.
Just a few times. And no, he was on The Rest is Entertainment. Great show.
Shout out Rest is Entertainment.
Love that podcast.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the new costumes. So I'm going to read a little excerpt because I don't want to paraphrase his words because I think they're really poignant. So he said, I looked online and there are photographs of Nick Frost as Hagrid with the new Harry Potter. And he's wearing the exact same costume that we designed for Hagrid. Part of me was like, what's the point? I thought everything, the costumes and everything was going to be different, but it's just more of the same. I thought it was really interesting how
poignant.
how he was saying, how he was talking about it feeling sort of the same. And I think it also kind of plays into what we have just been talking about in that, remakes have always been made. You know, you look at A Star is Born, for example, that's been remade 1 million times.
Yeah.
Cinderella's been remade 1 million times. But I think this show specifically being remade in the way that it's being remade with exactly the same kind of thing, is it the right move? I mean, is there a world in which they could ever have created this series and strayed away from what those original films were?
Well, to answer that, I actually kind of feel like the Harry Potter universe did, right? The Wizarding universe did. I think they tried to with Fantastic Beasts, right?
Yeah.
You're making a similar narrative with safe characters that have they have your IP, people recognize them, children are like, oh, this is amazing, it's the Wizarding world, but we've got new characters that we had in the Fantastic Beasts series, right? But if you look at that, it was a brand new world, and it took chances at a time when Harry Potter was so big, but people wanted more of it. And yes, look, historically, it hasn't performed as well, but at least it was new, It was a new set of characters taking a risk, which I think we need more of. But
then do you think that with these characters, with these same characters and the way that they're remaking this show and they're essentially remaking the movies as a TV series. Do you think there's any way in which they could have strayed away from, the look and the feeling? Like, imagine, I feel like they're trying to capitalize on the nostalgia element of these films. So if they were to stray away from what those films were and what we all remember them as, everyone who they're trying to capture, that whole audience would just be like, yeah, no. I mean, I don't think this show really should be made to begin with. I think it's too soon.
Yeah.
But for me as a fan, if they made this show and then made, I don't know, some weird choices or different choices with Hagrid or anybody, I would go, yeah, not only are you remaking it with new characters, you're now remaking it with new characters, new looks, and I just don't buy into any of this.
That's down to you. That's down to them trying to redefine your nostalgia, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why it's disruptive to you, and probably disruptive to people of our age group, because it's well, we grew up with that look and feel, and you're just sort of regurgitating the same thing.
But it's because I think they're trying to capture me as a fan of the originals.
And kids that you're going to have, yes.
Well, yeah, but kids who haven't necessarily seen the originals aren't necessarily going to have the same attachment to it that we're going to have.
Yeah.
And I think what they're actually banking on is, yes, bringing in those new young kids, but also banking on our generation, people who grew up with that show, watching it for comfort, because that's the only reason that you'd remake something that's supposed to be super true to the book.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's something that you touched on earlier, it's that safety aspect, for people pumping hundreds of millions of dollars into a show like this, as well, with such they want to be safe, that's all they want. They want people to feel like they're being true to the book and making sure that they're doing the fan base, a service.
Anyways, moving on.
Anyways.
That is that.
Well, look forward to seeing that.
I know, 2027. We've got a little while to go yet.
Yeah.
But yes, anyways, moving on to the Rotten Tomatoes game this week. So for those of you who do not know what the Rotten Tomatoes game, that is the game where basically I list a name of a film that is in the theme of the week. Rory then tells me what he thinks the critics and the audience score is. I tell him if he's right or wrong. We talk about the film and then we move on to the next one. That's pretty much the game. Rory is historically not very good at this game. That's fine.
I got 2 out of 8 last time.
The
time
I think
before.
you got 1 out of 8 last time.
Okay, 1 out of 8. Okay.
Most of the time
Still
it's 0
half of
out
2.
of 8. Actually, no, he's been doing well. In the past sort of like 4 or 5 episodes, he's got generally around a quarter right, which is pretty impressive.
My soul. Rory's on a roll. No, not anymore. All right, let's hit it.
Anyways, first one up. This theme, by the way, is remakes. So first one up, we have Cruella.
Oh, I loved that film.
Yeah.
That was so good with Emma Stone.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
That was a good film. I'm going to go quite high. I'm going to say an audience score of 90, critic score of 92.
Okay, audience score, you're right, is very high, 97%. Audiences loved this one.
Yeah.
The critics,
Oh, no.
75%.
Oh, that's unfair.
Yeah, I know.
That's unfair.
I agree.
That's too low.
I think it's because it's a remake.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's not. I mean, like, I know it is. Well,
I
the
would
character.
argue the character,
But
that's...
the story's not.
No, exactly. That's why I
all.
put it in here, because actually the story is new.
Yeah, it's a brand new story.
Ish.
Okay. Well, I think Cruella should have got more from the critics. What can I say?
I don't disagree. The next one, A Star is Born.
Oh, God, which one? It's about 100.
Yeah, I know. The latest one with Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. Okay.
Were you about to say Sigourney Weaver there?
No, I was going to say Stephen Cooper.
Well, yeah, that's better than
Stephen
Sigourney
Cooper?
Weaver.
No, Steve Coogan. That's who I was thinking on my head, but it said Stephen Cooper. So I don't know who Stephen Cooper, wherever you may be.
If you could make yourself known, that would be really great.
Comment.
Rory's got a...
Yeah, you should be in this film.
He's got a proposition.
Right.
Anyways.
What was the film?
A Star is Born.
I'm going to go for an audience score of 86. Critic score of 83.
Okay, audience score, 80.
Oh.
Flat.
Yeah, I thought it would be in the 80s.
Yeah, you did well. Critically, 90%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shocked by that. Didn't think it was that great.
It was good.
I thought it was solid. Yeah, no, it was good, but I didn't think it was a 90. But then it did go into the Oscars, didn't it?
But did you think that Cruella was a 75?
No.
Yeah.
That deserved more.
Exactly.
I'm backing Cruella. I think Corella's better than A Star is Born.
Whoa.
Hey, you heard it here first. Come at me.
All right. And we've got Cinderella, but the 2015 version with Lily James.
Yeah, that one.
I personally would argue that this is the best remake that has ever been remade.
Yeah, it was good. The casting was good.
I just also think I think the Cinderella film with Lily James is just, it's great.
You don't think Beauty and the Beast with Emma Watson was good?
Not as good as Cinderella.
You think that's the best
live
action remake?
I think this is the best live action remake we've had.
That's a big statement.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. I think there's people who would disagree with you strongly.
Fine, disagree with me.
I think Lilo and Stitch is probably better.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Come at Sophie. Okay. I'm going to go for an audience score of 70. Critic score 73.
Okay. Critically, 84%.
Wow, that's a lot higher than I anticipated.
Yeah, audience score 78%.
Okay. Yeah, so the audience liked it less than the critics. I'm surprised the critics scored it that high because it's like a remake and a Disney remake. They
don't love those.
They don't love those.
They love this one.
Okay, fair.
For all the right reasons.
Do you know what? Maybe you're right.
I am right.
Yeah.
When am I ever wrong? When am I ever wrong?
Oh, never.
You shouldn't have said that
easy. Happy wife, happy life.
Exactly. Last one, Cinderella, the 2021 version with
goodness.
Camilla Cabello.
Oh, that was awful, that one.
You remember Idina Menzel?
Yeah, that was awful, wasn't it? That one. I think I barely remember that one.
I don't think they needed a 2021 version of Cinderella, considering we had the 2015 version of Cinderella.
Sophie, the character of Cinderella, they fade after 6 years.
Yeah.
They needed a remake.
Camilla Cabello just really wanted to play Cinderella.
Yeah.
It seems.
Exactly.
Yeah. Havana, Cinderella, ooh, na, na. God, we're
so lame.
So weird. But yes.
Audience score, I'm going to go something quite low. 50.
For the audience?
Critically, no. Audience 63. Critically, 55.
Okay, audience 57%.
Should have stuck with the 50s for the audience.
Critically, it got 41%.
Should have gone lower with that.
It bombed.
It bombed, just like I did on this version of the Rotten Tomatoes game.
Yeah, 0 out of 8.
0 out of 8.
I told you guys, he historically doesn't do well in these.
Well, fair.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay.
Anyways, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for listening. If you are listening on podcast, please do leave us a review. It really does help other people find us. If you are watching this on YouTube, please do give us a like, subscribe if you like and want more, or drop us a comment below. Tell us which Cinderella you liked more. Is it the original? Oh, that could be a new one. We put these out every single Thursday, although today is Friday. most of the time it's Thursdays. Thank you for being here. We will put one out again at some point at the end of the week next week. So hopefully see you then. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.